So we have done our revisions with ARMS yesterday, and today we're going to go through the editing process using CUPS. Now in our last one we used COPS, but I found that a lot of friends weren't using full sentences. Remember when we talked about complete versus incomplete sentences? So I want to use CUPS this time to make sure that when we get to our U, we're checking to make sure that we have a noun and verb or a subject and an action in every single sentence we have, because some of you on your goals wrote cursive, right? And that was your sentence, but that's not a full sentence. We've got to write something like, I want to learn cursive, right? We need that full sentence, that full complete thought. So I wanted to change it to CUPS today. So we're going to use CUPS instead of COPS to make sure that we've got full sentences. Okay, so when we are revising, we go through and we look to add, remove, move, substitute. But when we are editing, we are looking for those things like capitals and punctuation and our spelling. So I would like for you to grab a pink marker or highlighter and a yellow marker or highlighter, and you can edit your personal letter right along with me as I do mine. So I'm going to start with capitalize because that's the first part of CUPS. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and make sure that I've got everything capitalized that needs to be. So starting up at the very top here, October needs to be capitalized, right? That's the name of the month. So make sure that your date is capitalized. And then dear, the very first letter of our greeting, and mom, or the name of whoever it is that you are writing to, whatever you have called them. Remember, proper nouns. Think about the mints. We've got months, the letter I by itself, names of places and titles. We've got to have all of those things, and then start of sentences as well. We've got to have all of those things capitalized. So if you find that you didn't have October or dear or their name capitalized, just erase and make it a capital and then highlight it to check to make sure it's there. So then I need capitals at the start of my sentences. So today I dove out of a plane with my parachute. So capital T at the beginning here. My second sentence, I love the rush. I'm going to highlight that one. And the wind on my face when I by itself parachute out of the plane. Sentence 3, don't worry, I've got my capital D. I by itself, oop, I missed an I up here. I by itself. I wore my padded suit and my helmet to stay safe. I've got a period. The next sentence should start with a capital, and it does. My job for this mission is to use powerful sauce to cut down the trees. I am hopeful we can get this fire out before any more trees are harmed. Love starts, your closing should start with a capital, and then your name at the bottom, your signature, should also start with a capital. So please pause and go ahead and check through your personal letter rough draft to make sure that you've got all of your capitals highlighted. Now I'm ready to move on to my usage, and that's checking to make sure every sentence has a subject and a verb, an action. So I'm going to go through and check. Today I dove is the verb, right? That's the action. Don't worry, I wore my padded suit. My job is to use powerful sauce. I love the rush of excitement and the wind on my face when I parachute out of the plane. I am hopeful we can get this fire out before any more trees are harmed. So I've got all of my sentences have a noun. It says the who, right? And the what, the verb, the action. So I'm good with my you. Please check your sentences and make sure that they have a who and a what. And then we're going to move on to punctuation. Grab your yellow marker or highlighter for that. We need punctuation at the end of every sentence, but we also have extra punctuation because this is a personal letter. One of those is a comma after the day and our date. So after 2, you need a comma. We also need a comma after the name of the person that you're writing to. So dear mom, comma, or whoever you're writing to. Dear sister, comma, dear friend, comma, okay? And then we also need another comma in our closing. So after your closing, it might have been your friend, comma, love, comma, sincerely, comma. You have to have a comma between your closing and your name. Okay, and then the other place that we need punctuation is the end of every single sentence. So I'm gonna read through, and where my sentence finishes, I need to make sure that I've got a period. So, dear Mom, today I dove out of a plane with my parachute, period. Now, if I was asking a question on this sentence, I would need a question mark. So check to make sure that you've got the right kind there. You could add here too, I could have changed that to an exclamation point, because that is kind of an exciting thing, right? Now, when I revised, I moved this feeling up here, so I'm gonna read that second. I love the rush of excitement and the wind on my face when I parachute out of the plane, period. Don't worry, I have a comma here. I wore my padded fireproof suit and my helmet to stay safe, period. That's the end of my thought, right? My job for this mission is to use powerful saws to cut down the trees, period. I am hopeful we can get this fire out before any more trees are harmed, period. So there should at least be a period here after event 2, after event 3, after feeling 1, and after feeling 2. You should have punctuation at all of those spots. And then you also need those 3 commas, 1, 2, 3, and you may have other punctuation in there as well. You may have asked a question. You may have said something with an exclamation point. So now I've got my punctuation. For my spelling, I'm going to go through and make sure that all of my sight words are spelled correctly. And if I see something that doesn't look quite right to me, then I might want to circle that word and come back to it and ask an adult to help me fix that word, or I might want to look it up on my iPad and see how to spell it correctly. I don't have any of those in this text because I know how to spell my words at this point, but you do need to look through and make sure that all 2nd grade words are spelled correctly, and any words that are above 2nd grade that you've circled to make sure with a parent or an adult that they are indeed correct. And now your letter has been through the editing process. So now we're ready to move on to the next process tomorrow.